used to tell us, "Oh, when you get a little older, you'll see time just flies."
Time flies by, man.
Well, it's happening, folks. It's definitely happening. Well, again, welcome to another edition of Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday afternoon. I'm Ian Rollins with my co-host Earl Baston and man of controls, Mr. Don Bassett. Oh, we've got a good lineup of guests today. We've got Ross Caesar and his entourage returning back today. We had them on last week, Monday, but they're back again today at the helm. As you know, it's a countdown for the International Bodybuilding Federation event that's going to be taking place this coming Saturday at the City Bridge Academy. Something like 160 competitors, 100 overseas and 60 local competitors will take to the stage to see who will be crowned as their winner, but more so getting their pro card.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be exciting for them.
Well, I guess we'll have a question because although it is a pro card event for people trying to earn pro cards, if someone wins who already has a pro card, does the pro card go to the second place person?
Oh, good question. Yeah, you think about that. Are they able to compete if they have a pro card?
It's a pro event. I would imagine you would be able to.
Okay. I guess we'll find out, right?
Yeah.
We'll definitely find out.
Yeah.
Good point. And of course, at 12:40 we have some of your guests joining us.
Yeah, we have members from the Bermuda Equestrian Federation who will be hosting this coming weekend Welcome Home show. That would include Rachel Butch, who is over in Germany, and Patrick Nesbitt, who is spending time between Germany and Belgium. Both have been competing this year, doing international horse jumping events, and they'll be coming home to do some clinics and many other things, as well as competing in the Welcome Home show that will see each of them captain a team along with two local other captains. So there'll be 4 teams competing to see who will turn out to be the winners come the end of the competition on Sunday. So
okay. And then at about 1:10 to 1:15, we will have our August representatives for Inside Health joining us, our health and fitness segment. They'll be joining us today. And then to top it off at about 1:40, 1:20, 1:35, 1:40, we will have Norbert Simons and Jahan Ednis joining us in studio as the countdown for Athletes of the Year for nominees.
Yeah.
Get that application.
Drawing closer to the end.
That's right.
Of nominations.
Yeah, get that in to us. So we're going to take a quick commercial break because our guests have arrived. So we're going to bring them to the studio. We'll take a commercial break and we're back after this.
is what this team is.
Okay.
That's right.
Right?
Okay. And we're live, gentlemen. Welcome to Inside Sports Radio. In the studio with us right now is Mr. Ross Caesar, Mr. Dion Smith, and Mr. Ron Hashi. I said it right. IFBB. He's a big judge, the big man that's going to be on stage with the competitors at the Seabridge Academy this coming Saturday. Welcome back, Ron. I'm sorry, Ross and Dion. And of course, welcome, Ron,
Thank you.
joining us today on Inside Sports Talk Radio. I'll start with you, Ross, or Dion. Neither one can answer. A week has gone by. What is the preparation looking like? We're going to be 6 days left.
Preparation has been busy, extremely busy.
Right.
So we found that we've been doing a lot more interviewing with a lot of the local. We've also been trying to get a lot of our format down for the expo. One of the things right now that's been taking up a lot more time is the expo. We have
He's really looking forward to it. This expo is going to be something new to Bermuda. So what else can we expect on that? I mean, what you outlined is real new for Bermuda because Bermudans always want to learn and see all about it, but it's firsthand. We get to see it in person.
And I think what we've tried to do is a little bit more. One of the things we wanted to also have was the insurance companies because we know that we're trying to balance life and the health part, but for now, because of time, we didn't get a lot of time to be able to approach them as well as we want. Different budgets and stuff. So, but we actually have a medical village where we would have different physicians or doctors' offices that are going to be there on display to show their products and stuff like that for health. So to me, that right there is really important, and we want to push that because we know next year it'll be a lot better. We've also included Tom Watson, so we can have the farm and stuff like that. So
from a local perspective.
Yes, and he will be selling his fresh vegetables and fruit. So to me, we wanted to kind of put together something that's totally different that you've never seen, never had before. We've also included Hot 107.5 with Dr. D. So they'll be on at 8 to 10.
Okay. And in addition to that, I lost my train of thought. With that said, I'll go to Ross because I had something for you, but I forgot what I was going to ask you, right? Ross, with the competitors, I think the last time we touched base was like 160. Has the number increased since then, or that's the ballpark figure you're going with?
I think that is the ballpark figure right now so far, around 150 contestants.
Have you had a chance to talk to the local chapter, like where the athletes stand now with only 6 days remaining?
Yes, as a trainer myself, I'm assisting quite a few athletes. At this stage, 6 days out, most athletes, obviously, in regards to diet, they're winding down, making dietary adjustments. They're basically on their last 2 to 3 days of training. Some athletes will probably stop resistance training on Tuesday, some on Wednesday. Then they will start looking at their water intake, right? But at this close to a competition, I can tell you it's mostly mental.
Right, it's a mental aspect.
Physically, your body's pretty much sharp. And the last week is all mental preparation, rehearsing your routines, working on detailed stuff.
Once this event was announced in Bermuda, saying that Bermuda was going to hold this event, I know the volume had raised, meaning people wanted to participate. That said, what's it been like overall? Either one of you can answer this for the last 6 to 7 months in Bermuda, from the local perspective again.
From the local perspective, I think it's really great for the sport of bodybuilding and fitness because we have a lot of new interests in terms of new athletes are willing to compete that came out, started preparing for this athlete. We have veteran competitors that haven't competed in over 20 years that decided to come back out and take another chance at a pro qualifier. Being is here in Bermuda, they will have the opportunity for their family and friends to see them firsthand competing at a high quality event at home. So the interest has been really good response. The gyms have been buzzing. So I feel in a whole it's really good for the gym atmosphere, for athletes in a whole.
Gotcha.
Right? It's
Gotcha.
a very, very, very good opportunity. Before we thought the sport was dying a bit,
Mhm.
but this event to me has brought new life because most athletes want to do a big show.
Yeah.
Some athletes here haven't never had the opportunity to go away for various reasons to compete at the show at this level. Now that we have one here in Bermuda, everyone's on their ball. I've seen quite a few athletes that I think they're basically in the best shape I've ever seen them
Really?
in many years.
Wow.
So I
That's
think it's a good thing for the country in a whole.
Right. Right. I know it was nutrition, and I was going to ask about nutrition. Are there going to be anyone giving advice on nutrition plans for someone who's starting new in this? That you need to get to this stage of the New Year's coming, you got these New Year's resolutions, and the stock rises in gyms first quarter of the year. People want to get themselves into shape. So is anyone going to give tips on nutrition there at the
I,
expo?
yeah, I believe so. What we've tried to do, we've tried to encourage as much gyms as possible. Even people that do other types of physical activities and businesses. We have Alex. I believe Alex is one of them. Like he does a lot of dietitian sort of work. So what we believe is that each gym would have their persons that can speak to the quality and the different things that they do specifically. Um, Again, with the medical village, they will have persons that can speak to different areas of health. Also, with the supplement suppliers that's going to be there, they'll be able to speak to the supplements and how your body can take, um, how well it would do with whatever supplements you choose to take.
Fair enough.
So it will be a number of different people that will be in here that can speak to health of different areas.
I have a question for the judge.
Ron has sheep.
Ron
Ron Hashay.
Hashay. Yes, he said it. You level it up. Shay. Yeah.
No problem.
With this event being a pro qualifier and a pro event, we were talking before and I had a question. If a pro finishes first,
Right.
does the person that comes second, that is an amateur trying to get a pro card, do they end up with the pro card? How does it work?
Well, if the pro comes, at the pro qualifier,
hmm
the overall winner gets a pro card.
So so it's a qualifier.
It's a pro qualified. The overall winner gets the pro card.
Okay, so there's no pros in here
No,
at all.
no.
Okay.
But the good thing is, there might be somebody here in Bermuda. It's huge.
So what show are you gonna compete at that will give you that opportunity?
My focus right now is on the Battle of Texas. Um, that's coming up on the 14th of December.
Okay.
Working on that to see if I can make that first call up.
Okay.
That's kind of tight because you're mentally dealing with helping to arrange this and get people in shape, and then 8 days later you're on the stage yourself. How does that's got to be a tall order or a tall ask.
Exactly, it is, but I just try to manage my time wisely. Um, with the athletes, basically, I'm going through what they're going through at the same time. So I can relate exactly to how
If I could do it, you could do it. That's the
Yes,
Yeah. All right.
And back to the when you're judging, you particular, because I asked these guys this question last week, and it comes down to what you want to look at. What are you specifically looking for in a competitor?
Well, as you know, there's different classes, like
Right.
from bikini to bodybuilding to
Yeah.
classic physique, the new category now, wellness.
Right.
I know when I'm judging the shows, the pro qualifiers, basically you have to have a standard,
hmm
which we have. I mean, the standard changes yearly, and what we use is the Olympia as our standard, because that's the best of the best.
Okay.
So as the Olympia winners change, we've got to kind of change our perspective, But basically, we're looking at symmetry, balance, muscle maturity, muscle size, All these factors come into play, and then when you get into bikini and figure, then you're looking at a little bit at a different look. You're looking at personality on stage, stage presence, and the bikini competitors work out with weights. Trust me, they just don't show up there in a bikini. They work out as hard as the bodybuilders. As you know, you're a trainer, Ross. So when we're looking at the bikini competitors, the look is more, it's an athletic look, but a little softer look with nice tight glutes, nice balance, nice stage presence, nice presentation. All of these are kind of like come into play. And then figure is more of an athletic look.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit more muscle, but not striated or anything like that. And again, they still have to have that nice athletic look. And then, you know, you go into women's physique, a little bit more muscular, more athletic. Again, symmetry, balance, that overall shape and that overall look is kind of like the standard. But once you got them all lined up on stage, because they'll all come on stage and do their presentation individually.
Right.
But until they're standing next to each other, that's when you can really see the difference, and it becomes very clear for a judge. Although the audience is sitting there saying, like, you know,
Right.
he should have won or she should have won.
Yeah.
There is a standard that we set, and bottom line is, whatever the look is at the Olympia, we try to get the closest look to that.
Okay.
I mean, you know, they're not going to be Olympia competitors, but the closest to that look is the look that they usually get.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, Ron, you've been a judge for how many years, and how long overall you've been involved in the sport?
Well, I've been involved in the sport for 45 years. I'm probably the oldest guy here. Oops, is that my phone? We'll just shut that down.
Someone's
We're in
calling.
an airplane here. But yeah, the overall look, I mean, I've been in the sport for 45 years as a judge. I was a competitor. I mean, we always start as competitors, right, guys? And then from there, you know, we move on to, doing different things. But I've been involved as a judge for that many years, and I promote the show. I just love the sport. And I've been involved so long that, I'll always do it.
What have you seen, like, change or during your 45 years? What has changed the most, and what have you seen improve the most?
Yeah, well, when I first started judging, there was only one class.
Really?
Was bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, 45. Yeah.
So, so it's changed a lot. You know, we added women's bodybuilding,
Right.
and then we added women's fitness and
Right.
figure. So when the first girl ever came on stage, we were like shocked. Wow, she looks like a man. She's too muscular. And now that first girl that was ever a bodybuilder would probably be a figure competitor today.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's changed. The sport has gotten more and more popular, and why the sport is getting more and more popular, and what's changed is the age. We got men and women competing at 35, 45, 50. We got women that are coming on stage. They've raised their family. They did it all for their kids. Now they want to do it for themselves. They want to get outside that box. They want to challenge themselves on stage. They want to inspire other people. It's not necessarily everybody wanting to get to the Olympia and win a pro card. So I find that we're getting a lot of participation from the older, from people my age, or a lot younger than me, but, 40s, 45, 50, 55. Grandchildren are in the audience saying, go, Grandma. So I think it's become more and more open to society to accept,
Weight training.
running shows with us, and he trains again. And like you said, people that are on stage don't realize who they're inspiring out there. When you got a 15 and 60-year-old guy or girl on stage, they inspire people they don't even know who they inspired. So maybe, okay, hey, if he can do it or if she can do it, I'll try it too. And as I said, there's the top professionals, but there are also those that made it a lifestyle.
One thing is for sure, and it's no secret, Dion and you guys and Ross are testament, but you don't look your age. I'm just doing the math in my head. I'm saying 45 years.
How much did you want for that?
No. Oh yeah, I just got on. But you don't look your age, so I'm saying you're sport again. People who are in their older than me don't look their age, and I think it's because taking care of themselves through you guys' sport, eating right, doing the weight training, doing the cardio, everything.
But can I ask Dion and Ross, what has been the biggest attraction to the event in Bermuda? Because when you start talking about 100 competitors, it's got to be something that they're looking for here that they can't get somewhere else.
I would say that infomercial that we have. Have you seen it?
No.
It has that pretty picture of Bermuda, what Bermuda looks like. All you see is the water, everything else, and then you actually see the event, a real event.
Mhm.
You can see how the competitors register, everything. So it gives you everything about Bermuda and about the sport all at the same time in 60 or 70 seconds.
Okay.
I can add to that. I mean, I just showed him a picture of my backyard, okay, a foot of snow. This is this is a destination place. I mean, I got competitors from Canada. There's a buzz going on, and this that are coming here to compete. This is open
Thank God they weren't trying to
worldwide.
come last night.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this event here in Bermuda, you know, if you can keep it going here, this pro qualifier is open worldwide. You're going to have a lot of people coming to Bermuda to compete because it's a destination place and an opportunity to win a pro card and competing against fellow Bermudans. What would be
Bermudians.
Bermudans?
Yeah.
So and they get a chance to compete against competitors from around the world.
For sure.
So this is pretty cool for Bermuda, and I was excited about coming here. In fact, I'm staying here a week just to enjoy the.
Just saying, get out of the snow. Get
Get
out.
out of the snow. All right, that's part two.
Understood.
But this is going to be a great event, and I think per capita, because our country has 30 million, and
Mm.
the U.S. has what 200 million population. Per capita, I think Bermuda probably has the highest per capita competitors. Because
Wow.
what population here is 60,000.
60,000.
So that's unbelievable that you were able to encourage that many competitors to come to this event. So obviously this is a well organized promoter, and Bermuda is it's a fitness place. It's a place to be.
Thank
And the
you very
weather,
much.
I guess the ocean, lots of walking.
All right.
Everybody wants to get into it.
No snow.
No snow.
There you go. Gents, before we wrap up, is there any final comments you'd like to add that we did not ask?
Well, and as Ron did say, we actually have our promoter, which is Serge Sarah. So he's been the one responsible behind the scene for a lot of different things that we've been doing. So that's been adding that additional edge for this type of sport.
For sure.
Come up, especially to the economic prejudging is
It's
where
exactly.
a lot of decisions are being made.
That's right.
Everyone get to know about the sport. It's very good to come out to the prejudging as well.
Sure. What time's the expo starting on Saturday again? Is it 9 o'clock, I think, or 10?
I think it's 10 o'clock, isn't it?
10 o'clock.
Okay.
And actually, and what we would like to do, I guess, for this whole weekend, and we're going to visit a few other people, is give tickets
Sure.
for the pre-judging. And so before we leave, we would like to kind of do the same with you. So when you guys do your announcement, if you ask some questions or something, if
Sure.
someone wins, then they can come in.
Not a problem. We'll take care of that for you, man.
That'd be great. Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you guys on
Thank you
again.
very much.
Thank
We
you very
enjoyed it. And best of luck. Ron, welcome to Bermuda.
Your hospitality is number one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And hope to see you back here next year. We have maybe 200 competitors.
I love that.
All right.
Great.
We'll take a commercial break and we'll be back after this.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baisden.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday, December the 2nd. Joining us in the studio now is Makisha Smith, one of the organizers for the upcoming Welcome Home show. Makisha, after the hiatus, it's now back. What are some of the things you guys will be looking to do this year that you learned from 4 years ago when it was at Botanical Gardens?
Yeah, so we, again, 4-year hiatus, and now it's just about, getting the team back together and going back to the original program from 2011, which really is just centered around team jumping competition. But we also included getting the little kids involved and using them to get some exposure to the overseas riders and some show jumping. They're not quite show jumpers yet, but I'm sure they'll be, one day soon.
Mm-hmm.
So we have what we call rising star classes, and that will see the young kids do their classes first thing in the morning. Then they get to walk the course with the professionals, and that's local and overseas. And then also, they get to watch the competition. So we just created that little bit of element just to kind of, this show is about giving back, and we just want to get, these kids involved and inspired by people that do this for a living.
Right. I got a chance to speak with Ray Shun last week.
Yes.
He's excited about coming back. He just finished up with the Japan youngsters, finishing second in the World Championships. So I guess he's really eager to give a little bit of knowledge. He did say, watching them in one clinic is kind of difficult to give them too many tips because you don't want to overload them. But the opportunity to share information for him and Patrick must be a good thing because these guys have come up through the Bermuda Equestrian Federation.
Yeah, so part of the giving back is where these guys will have the opportunity before the horse show to give clinics to their team members as well as other team members. And also just the general membership. We're just scheduling those clinics at the moment. As you indicate, it's a lot to take in before the horse show. And you're not going to fix things overnight, and they're not going to become professionals by the time the show starts. But just sharing their knowledge and getting and again, they're sharing their knowledge based on them wanting their team to win. Right. And I know you put that out there for Ray Sean, whether or not he's going to beat Patrick, but we shall see. I can tell you they're both very competitive.
That's why I said it. Listen, I want to start a little, and to tell you the truth, what's his name? Local. Philip.
And
he's even more.
Crazy.
Yes, he's even more. I can see.
So, but again, rooting for girl power. We have one female in the mix, and that's Abby Barnett. So we have to represent for the women. So hopefully she pulls through. But these riders have some amazing horses that they're riding. Again, it should be a really good competition, especially at that category D level.
Right.
Because not only do we have the 4 team captains, but we have 5 other riders that have decided not to be on teams.
Oh wow!
And to compete against these
Oh wow!
So that category is probably going to be one of the most exciting categories.
Right. Now, can we expect a reunited feeling with Patrick? Am I letting the cat out of the bag?
Reunited? I don't know what you mean, Earl. But it would be good to have him and Ray back home. Again, they don't have bragging rights because in 2011 it was Kaiwan Minor that won, right? For Team Docksiders. So let's be clear, they get bragging rights after the fact. But yeah, it should be good to have them both back.
No, I'm talking about reunited with the horse.
My horse?
Yeah.
No, he's not riding my horse. No. That horse belongs to me now.
He has a twisted charm.
My Jada Smith will be riding that horse. Thank you very much. In Category C, but they are reunited as they're on the same team.
Okay.
But that's as reunited as we're going to get.
Yeah. What we're explaining is this is the horse that Patrick had competed internationally on for a number of years, and now the rightful owner is now dictating who will ride the horse on local soil.
Exactly.
We heard it loud and clear.
And I mean, the funny part is everyone assumed that he would ride the horse.
Right.
The horse has a new jockey. And so she's going to ride him on the weekend. And she's all guns a blazing and ready. But Patrick is riding one of Philip's horses. Philip
Okay.
has 4 in his barn.
Right.
So Philip and Dow Velasquez, I think his name, last
Mhm.
name, but Dow as we call him.
Right.
They have afforded the opportunity for Patrick to ride one of his horses named
Okay.
Hornelli.
Oh, Harnelli. Okay.
So he's gonna have Hornelli, and Vicky Steele and Rodriguez Equine Services is affording Ray
Mhm.
to ride their horse all in one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay. And
we're
Hornelli
thankful
is
and grateful for.
yeah. Hornelli's a rather chancy horse as well. I've seen Philip ride
Yeah,
that one as well. It's he likes the challenge.
it's
So,
a she.
she likes the horse likes the challenge.
Yeah, she does. She's quite a nice mare, actually.
Right.
I was interested in her at one point, but I lucked out with Mr. Da Vinci. So.
Okay.
But Patrick is a master at, again, bringing young horses along and even horses that are developed. He is quite the talent.
Right.
So they should get on well.
So for the general public, the horse show is a free entry.
Yes.
But what time does the actual jumping get underway or scheduled to get underway?
Sure. So the actual show starts at National Equestrian Center on Saturday. And it kicks off at 9 with the Rising Stars. Then we have an opening ceremony. We've actually, this show always has a bit of a spin, right?
Yes.
So we have all the founding members of the Bermuda Equestrian Federation. They will be at the event to open the event at 10 before the jumping starts at 10:30, around 11. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
What
And
is
it-
this? Oh,
Good. And it does continue on Sunday.
Correct. And so the show jumping will start. And so we have the team competition and some other jumping classes in the afternoon. And then on Sunday, it's pure jumping classes to the team competition and some additional fun classes.
Okay.
What does this mean for the sport of horse jumping or the sport itself in Bermuda when you bring back these 2 international gentlemen that have represented Bermuda for a number of years and they're back, maybe giving something back to your sport?
Yeah, again, I think the whole premise for this back in 2011 was that these gentlemen and other riders that were overseas had left the island and actually had pursued their careers overseas, right? Is that the general membership didn't necessarily know who they were, right? And we were looking to fundraise for these riders, especially it was Jill and Patrick at the time who were vying for the Olympic or spot in the Olympics, etc. And so part of it was, well, how are we going to solicit fundraising from or funds from the general membership? They really didn't know these folks. So it was really about, getting them back to the island, getting them introduced to the membership, and then also giving back to a community in which was now going to, again, help raise funds for them to continue their pursuits at the highest level. So that's kind of the premise for the show. And it's always, I grew up riding horses, and back then it was, team competitions, and it was really some exciting things happening. And so I think we might have lost our way in a little bit in as far as, having these exciting shows and different type of shows. And that's what this show is. This show tests the status quo a bit and actually, again, affords something fun and something different to the membership. So the show has never been where it's just our regular show, horse show. It always comes with some element and spin. Now, I have to announce this. So the committee has come up with this theme this year. I'm not sure how we came up with it. It's one of those very long nights, I think.
Yes.
But we have a unicorn theme. So one of the classes on the Saturday for the little kids is a fun dress up class, right?
Okay.
So it's quite interesting to see. And I must say it's the largest entered class, right, with 12 or 13 children, right? But they get to dress up as unicorns and their ponies, etc. And so the level of creativity will definitely be tested.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. With these 2 coming back, as well as Heidi Meadow, we talked about Heidi, who is well known around the world of equestrian, is laying out tracks for big international meets. I remember talking to Heidi some years ago, and she says, "You know what? I don't think I'll ever put down the same track twice."
Really?
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She'll plan. She'll get the measurements of the ring. Most of the big international rings are the same size, or she works out the dimensions, and then she'll come up with a track, and she'll forget that one and start it again. Start a new one. And most impressive that she'll be back to judge this competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So herself and a colleague, Colleen Hoffman, will be back. Colleen's been here before and judged some other shows, so they both will be judging this competition. But yeah, Heidi, I mean, she is again, she's our very qualified FBI judge as well as course designer, and she's definitely been amongst the highest writers
Yes.
and course designers in the world.
Right.
So she comes with some very high level credentials, and we're very thankful and grateful to have her. And Colleen, Ian Truman is actually going to be our course designer
Right.
for the show. So anybody that knows, he's that CEO of that bank, other bank.
You can call it. You can call it. You can call it.
Yes, I can't because I no longer work at that other bank. So, but
Well,
Clarion, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's, again, he's very, he has been, he does most of the shows for the year, and he's been putting down some really good and exciting tracks of recent. So it's always fun when the tracks also allow you to be able to do some speed and some turns, and it just makes it that more exciting. So,
Right.
Thank you to Ian.
Yeah.
For that.
Before we go, A class are jumping at what height?
0.75 meters.
And
Don't ask me what that is in feet.
I'll work it out later.
No, yeah.
And we're working up.
Today.
Are we working
We're
up?
working up, yes.
Okay.
So we go category A, category B, C, and D. And D is the highest level. And it's a meter 10 and a meter 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I just also want to just say, each team is also sponsored by some generous folks, right?
Okay.
So what we've actually labeled them as, as the sponsors are. So if you give me a minute, I'd like to just share.
Sure.
Abby Bargett's team is Team Gibbons. So Mr. Gibbons has afforded us sponsorship for that team. The next is Team Easy Lift. So that's Philip Korea's team, and Mr. Bridges, Keith Bridges, has been generous with his sponsorship for that. Team Ultimate Imaging, that's Patrick's team.
Okay.
So Miss Godfrey, Alea Godfrey, thank you for her sponsorship. And also Team Lobster Pot is Rayshawn Birch, and so Mr. Eddie Bargett has afforded sponsorship for that. So again, thank you for that. But again, it's so much going on. It's so much to talk about, but I probably don't have enough time. But we have, Bermuda Cupcake Company. We have Just Face It face painting. So again, it's a bit of a family-oriented event. Again, not the regular horse show. So some of these things, we want people to be exposed to the horses, but we have some other elements that will help for fun.
So for those people who love the egg show, this is an adventure and clearly old jumping that they'll really get interested in. Horses all over the place.
Exactly. And again, this is an exciting show.
Yes.
So
What times to get underway? That's my comment.
9 a.m. on both days.
That's Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
Okay. And it's free, you said.
Absolutely.
Wow.
National Equestrian Center on Visa Street.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we have a village tent and a village canteen, and DHPC, the Driving Horse and Pony Club, are actually we're partnering with them, and they're running the canteen.
Okay.
So again, this is just getting everyone involved, and then just your question, keeping the sport alive.
So for folks, if you see a trailer with horses in it on Saturday or Sunday, follow
Please
it.
drive safely.
Follow it.
And yes, and drive safely.
Follow it. Well, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. We'll see you on Saturday and Sunday of this week. Folks, we're going to go to our regular news, and we'll be back after the news and weather with more Inside Sports Talk Radio.
Thank you, Jen.
Inside Sports Talk Radio. We just waiting for our next guest to arrive shortly thereafter. They should be in the next 2-3 minutes or so. But the event that's happening this coming Saturday, it's a big event for Bermuda. The international stage regarding
Sure.
bodybuilding, and over as many as 160 competitors, 100 international and 60 locally.
Mm-hmm.
That speaks volumes for Bermuda.
Yeah, I mean, just another event that will get us some recognition in a different sport. We've hosted quite a few international events over the last few years in various sports that kind of gives people a different attraction of Bermuda. Which this one is just another avenue.
You know, it's amazing, and we've had this conversation before. When we were kids growing up, we always said, "Why didn't Bermuda host these events in various sports?"
Yeah,
it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's now it's happening.
Yeah,
right. So, is Bermuda the hub for sports, the international sports arena?
We went down the business trend, and I think we've exhausted as much as we can in that regard. And I think
the chapter's still not closed. Though.
No.
No,
yeah. Now we're opening up to the world of sports. Years ago, we used to have English football teams coming to Bermuda a lot.
Right.
That actually stopped, but now we see a wide range of various sports now hosting international events on island, on our shores, which bodes well for the country. I mean, when people come, they return. That's one of the things that I think is the thing that I think everyone that wants to put on an international event in Bermuda hopes that people just return for a vacation. Because when you come in for a competition, and I'm pretty sure when you come in for a competition of this magnitude, you're trying to get a pro card. You're not looking at the beach. You're not looking at how lovely things are. You actually become like a Bermudian that I'm here to work. I'm regimented.
And that's a good point to mention, because in the interview with the gentleman here, Ross, Dion, and Ron, they're saying that Bermuda is a destination that can basically get you into shape.
Right.
This is the destination, and Ron was impressed with it, and he's been involved in sport for 45 plus years.
Right.
He's saying he'd like to train here.
Yeah.
He would train if he was still competing.
Right.
Because they have all the outlets here.
Yeah.
Right?
We have naturally some of the best training facility in the world.
We do.
You got the beaches.
Yeah.
You got the ocean. You got facilities that whatever you need to do, weight training and all that, but you still have hills.
Yeah.
You have,
And then the key one is, as we know as athletes, is the mental aspect.
Yeah.
You can relax. You don't have to deal with the hustle and bustle.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard training, but when you need that rest and R&R, this is a place to be.
Yeah.
So Bermuda offers a lot for sports in Bermuda.
Yeah. And just this week, you will see, we have a golf tournament got underway today with international players. Overseas players. We have the bodybuilding at the end of the week. We have horse jumping with two Bermuda international people. So it's a buzz. We've just come off of golf of the PGA level. We're still buzzing from the youth Optimist Sailing Championships. That we had like 100 kids take part in that from overseas. So
the RCC T20.
T20. That's right. So we've hosted a number of different events that I think makes Bermuda a little more attractive.
Yeah, you're right.
So
right.
I just think more heads together and more things we can offer as far as what we can offer as far as sports-wise. I think, it only bodes well. Every year we have the squash event. We have a rugby event, that bring in people that Bermudians often don't get a chance to see up close and personal.
Yeah.
And it actually helps the island itself, because when you start bringing in people, they bring in family, and they bring in friends. They tell people about it, and then next thing you know, their friends are coming over, or their family members are coming over, or people are coming over to get married, because although the athlete really doesn't get a chance to see much of the island, their family do.
Right. But the key point, as you said earlier, is return.
Yeah.
They return after competing.
Yeah.
I still want to come back. I want to visit the island.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see it last time, but I'll come back and spend the dollars.
Yeah.
In Bermuda.
Yeah.
We're going to take another commercial break and see where our guests have arrived.
I do want to say,
sorry.
Tony, you was right. And Tony knows what I'm talking about. Yes, Tony Machette. Yesterday,
Oh, okay.
yesterday I said, Tony, I got to leave before the rain comes. He says, it's not going to rain until after the game ends. Well, Tony, you were right.
He was right.
You were right.
Which game was this?
We were at the North Village Crossroads game.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Tony, you were right.
So you owed him something?
No. I just said, listen, it got cool. It got a little breezy. I said, Tony, I've been wet 3 times today. I'm not. He says, it's not going to rain until after the game. I don't even think it rained. I ran home. Yeah, that was it.
And worked from home.
Yeah.
Understood.
So, Tony, you were right. So we will take that commercial break and we'll be back with more Inside Sports Talk Radio after this message from our sponsor.
Inside Sports Talk Radio. Radio, Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston. It's now time for our health and fitness segment with Dave Cole.
I'm getting called the break.
Brought to you by the Argus Group and Fit for Life.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us in the studio right now is Shaquille Warner, representative of Argus Insurance. As you know, she comes here every 2 weeks, gives us some good insight on health and fitness, and of course, the best way of living going forward and dealing with stress. She has a guest in studio today. It's Nina Wilson of the EAP Bermuda. Good afternoon and welcome to you, ma'am.
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, ladies. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Good afternoon.
All is good?
Excellent.
As
Fantastic.
well, just getting into the festive spirit.
You feeling it?
I am. When I was driving in this morning, I heard Mr. Bassett was playing some Christmas tunes. So, starting to get the house decorated.
Yeah. Did you get my list?
I did not get your list.
I'll make sure you have it after the show, that's for sure.
Email unanswered. That's covered.
Yeah, so today we just wanted to continue on the thread, kind of talking about the holidays. 2 weeks ago, we talked about our personal finances and a significant source of stress for most people around the holidays is, when it comes to your personal finances, because, those Black Friday deals are like relentless. They are just popping up left, right, and center. And, we wanted to put out some information there to just get people thinking about, how to better plan for holiday spending, because we know it's going to come around every single year.
Yeah.
So today we wanted to shift focus and talk about another important element of the holidays, which is the social aspect. So family gatherings, getting together with friends, people you haven't seen in a while. And the reality is that, no family or friend group is perfect.
No, that's true.
No family or friend group is perfect. And sometimes we may feel a lot of pressure to kind of be that, picture perfect, holiday card image of a family, but we know that is not always the case. And of course, that pressure can bring on feelings of stress. So, of course, today we have Miss Nina Wilson, who is a counselor at the Employee Assistance Program of Bermuda that we all know and love to be the EAP. So she's here to speak with us today just about some elements that, the holidays can highlight or put a spotlight on elements of our lives that have changed, whether that be positive changes or maybe not so positive changes. And then also, sometimes there are family members or friends that we just don't get along with, or to be even more frank, maybe can't stand to be around. But of course, you have to make an effort because there's an expectation, and you want to, meet the expectations of those that are around you that you love and care about. So you really do make an effort, but of course, that can bring on feelings of stress. So I'm so happy to hand it over to Ms. Wilson, who can give us some tips and suggestions for us.
Thank you so much for having us, and good afternoon, Bermuda. So just wanted to make a few different points about the holiday season. Like Ms. Shakira said, it can be very stressful. At times, sometimes we're all in the hustle and bustle. Black Friday has just passed, so everybody's been out and about, myself included, trying to get their gifts in place. I have my list. I'm checking it twice. And sometimes if we're not careful, we tend to overspend at this particular time of year. So just want to encourage people to make sure that you're having your list in place, but also putting in place a budget.
For sure.
Definitely, because like I said, this is the time of year where people are overspending. You want to make sure we get this person, and this person. And sometimes people are very understanding if you just say, look, I'm just getting for X, Y, and Z this year, and they're okay with it. Just having that conversation about this year, it's been sort of tight. I'm not in a good space in terms of I was just laid off maybe from my job, or maybe I just lost a loved one, and so paying for different finances around that regard, it can be very stressful at times.
For sure.
And also this time of year, people tend to remember who they've lost, unfortunately, during the year, and okay, this one here is not included, in the festivities this year. So it can be a little downtime a little bit depressing for some that this person is no longer around. So we just want to encourage everyone to make sure that you communicate with families this time of year. Even if you go by and spend like an hour or two with your prospective members. And like Ms. Shakira said, sometimes we run into those that we really don't want to see.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, but they are our family members. We love them dearly, but sometimes we don't like them.
Right, right.
Let's just keep it real at the end of the day. So I would like to encourage people to, like I said, spend a bit of quality time with your loved ones. Maybe if you can just do half an hour or two, just to catch up. But then when you see that person that comes in that just really takes you there sometimes.
15 minutes.
Correct, exactly. So putting sometimes a time limit, at least you're able to show your face, so to speak, and spend time with different family and friends. And then sometimes we have to have those difficult conversations with those family members. Maybe something took place during the year, and this is an opportune time to sometimes clear the air, so to speak.
Yeah.
But we definitely don't want it to get physical
No.
by no means, but at least having that conversation so that people are dying off left, right, and center. So you don't want our last words to be something that later on we regret.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, makes total sense.
I do want to ask a question when it comes to EAP.
Mm-hmm.
We work around people. Everyone works around people, and people handle stress and all sorts of things in different ways. But what are some of the signs in which if you feel someone needs to talk to someone, but you're not the person to talk to because they're not going to feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the signs people should be looking out for? Family, friends, co-workers, that they can actually advise the person. Maybe you need to go and talk to someone about your either finance or family member or bereavement.
Definitely. So what we would suggest is to make sure that they're not isolating themselves, because sometimes people go into a shell around these time of year. So we definitely want to reach out to them and make sure that they're okay. Now, in the event that they will call us up and make an appointment, or everyone who's member company are welcome to do that at EAP. So they can make a self referral, and basically it's picking up the phone and calling and saying, look, I'm having some troubles in my life. I would like to schedule an appointment. And it's that easy to pick up the phone. 292-9000 is the contact number. And they can make a self referral. Now it's not as if they have to call, schedule an appointment, and then they're mandated to come to the appointment. It's open, it's free of charge, it's a service provided as a benefit, like insurance.
Yes.
So in the event that they change their mind, they cancel or reschedule, it's no pressure, none whatsoever. So, and also sometimes a family member might call and say, hey, is this particular service offered to this particular person? Can I call and schedule an appointment on their behalf? And again, they're welcome to do that. So sometimes we have supervisors or co-workers or managers that call in and say, look, I noticed some decline in my employee. They seem a little down. Can they come in and talk with you? The answer is absolutely. Counseling services. We offer a short-term counseling service, which we see clients up between 6 to 8 sessions. But if they want to come in for 1 or 2 sessions, they're also welcome to do that. So how it works at EAP is basically if you don't hear from the client or the person after a month's time, you go ahead and close out the file.
Okay.
So again, it's no pressure for, look, I'm having a hard time today. Do you guys have an emergency spot? And again, definitely, if you do have the time, we would definitely schedule that person in.
I think it's a good service. Sorry, go ahead.
And I think to just reiterate Nina's point is sometimes as a friend or a family member, you don't really know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
So the best advice that we can give is, just say, hey, this service or this resource is out there for you. But you can always start the conversation with just, how are you doing? And not in the typical way how we do it. If we see a friend on the street and say, "Hey, how you doing?" and then
Right.
you kind of walk. No, you have to take the time, the place to be appropriate for the person, and you kind of do it in a way where it's just a one-on-one. So you just ask them, "Well, how are you doing?" Especially if you know that they've gone through some major life changes, whether that be a significant loss, and we're talking about loss could either be the death of a close person or even a divorce, for example, or children moving out of the house, or even like other life changes, like maybe a new diagnosis or an illness that's just getting you down. So really taking the time to just ask someone genuinely and authentically how they're doing and just listening, is a good step for anybody. Is it easy always? No. But think about, that kind of initial moment of discomfort can have a huge benefit for the person.
Yeah. I think having, like you say, having that approach is probably the key in starting the conversation. And even if the person is nothing's wrong with me, at least they know now that someone is kind of noticed their behavior has changed. And when they do have that self conversation, they'll probably and hopefully seek out your services or any other services that are out there, because it's going to get tough. People are going to feel the need to get their children or their loved one, everything they want. But financially, can you all afford it?
Exactly.
And that's putting stress on you physically and mentally, and and then you have a whole year to deal with again, because it starts all over again. So it's I know we talk a lot about what Argus services Argus give, as well as advising people about health, but that is a part of stress. Having that, being able to talk to someone, being able to have that conversation with someone that you may or may not know.
And we often find that during the holiday season, like everything becomes magnified.
Yes.
Like everything just feels, even
Closing in.
Yeah. And whether that's financial, whether that's, our relationships, everything just becomes magnified. So if you kind of have an awareness about what's happening in during the holiday time, specifically, then you can kind of find better ways to manage it, or you can get ahead of the curve. We've talked about having a budget. That's a way of getting ahead of the curve financially. Also, kind of having a game plan for how to, handle family gatherings. And I think Nina mentioned, you have to create you have to create boundaries for yourself.
Right.
Like if you know certain things are going to tip you right on over the edge, you better just take a couple steps back, right?
Yeah.
And also, I think it depends on your personality. So we've got some people who just thrive off of being around a whole pile of people and the family get-togethers. And you get some people who are a little bit more introverted. I'm one of those people.
Right.
Who can do the get-togethers and whatnot, but just need some restorative time afterwards. So I think it's knowing your personality type and kind of setting those boundaries for yourself. Yeah.
Well, what we do, we take a commercial break, and we'll be back with more of Health Talk with Argus on Inside Sports Talk Radio. We'll be back.
Sports Talk Radio. Ms. Wilson, this is for you. Question for you. We tend to, and we discussed it earlier, we tend to put a lot of stress on ourselves leading up to the holiday. And some people know how to deal with it better than others. But once it's all done, meaning the activity of the Christmas Day, the Boxing Day, even New Year's Day, we look at the bills that are coming in on the credit cards or just outstanding bills previously. We don't know how to handle that part, but we put stress on ourselves and how to deal with it. And before we know it, we're like way behind in payments. How can we better ourselves? Yes, the key is budget, but people tend to go there's a high percentage that goes past that budget.
hmm
How do we deal with it?
I think sometimes what we need to ask ourselves, okay, what is really important here? Yes, it is the Christmas time, but what's more important to me? Is it spending my money on items to make others happy? Is it spending time with family? Is it about, or maybe it's perhaps about starting different traditions where the family might get together and everybody cook a meal as part of the Christmas dinner, as opposed to spending money that we don't have.
Right.
So sometimes when we take a step back and look at, okay, what really do means the most to me during this Christmas time? And then sometimes that can lead us to making other decisions other than spending a whole heap of money.
Right.
And at the end of the day, to me, if you have to whip out a credit card and you're trying to buy Christmas gifts, maybe again it causes you to just step back and look at, okay, do I really need to be spending this amount of money for this particular person? Or on this particular item? Can I wait until the sales come on? Like,
Right.
is it a definite need or is it more or less a want that we have? Because getting that credit card bill in January is like,
Whoa.
whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, again, can be very depressing. So I'm suggesting that people really sit back and look at, okay, what's important here? Am I like trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak? I'm trying to keep up with the holiday rush or the holiday buzz or buying people like 3 and 4 or 5 gifts at a time. Like, why not, like I
Be
said,
reasonable.
reduce the amount, maybe getting the children 3 gifts,
Right.
starting a new tradition.
Understood.
And then having that conversation with our loved ones as well. Look, mommy is not in a space where we were last Christmas, so what do you think about just getting 2 gifts? And having that open conversation with our children and loved ones. Because more than likely they will understand.
Yeah. What I've done,
the picture.
I use myself as an example, is what I did over the years. I have one child
Mhm.
that she was getting older. I was like, you know what? You understand Christmas. You understand it now. Tell you what, this is what you're gonna get for Christmas. Let's think long term. You want to go to university, so also university now. Now she's in her masters. She wrote me the other day. This is what I want. What do you do? I said, you're studying your masters. This ain't gonna help your masters. Get this after. And so you have to do that because if you get it now, why get it now? Because it's not really gonna help her in school.
And you know what? It's funny because as I was on my way, or just before I was on my way over here, I was having a conversation with someone, and the individual was saying, we were just kind of laughing, saying, okay, how many of us really can remember what we bought for other people last year? And how many of us can remember what we received last year from each individual people? And we talked about, what about experiences?
Yeah.
Just spending time with people that we love and care about, and maybe doing a little activity or what have you, or doing something that's really meaningful for them. So, say for example, if you know a couple who has like a bunch of kids or something like that, or a single mom who is taking care of kids, maybe say, hey, I promise that for a day or for a weekend, I got your kids, and you can just go and have some me time. So there's, but of course that takes getting to know the person and what they really need. It's not about like little wants that are fleeting, but what do they need and what experiences can you provide as a gift? And sometimes the greatest gift you can give is your time.
That's so true. That's so true, especially if you got like 3, 4, and 5 kids.
Exactly.
I can't do that. Is anyone, well, not anyone, but going forward for EAP again, goals for 2020, someone can come and sit down and talk to you about their goals, because I think that's important. You need to see what 2020 brings, as opposed to just letting the pressure build up to you.
Yes. So again, this time of year, everybody's thinking about New Year's resolutions and sticking to those goals. And part of the process that we do is we do set goals with people who are receiving counseling services so that we can whip it out and say, hey, we talked about X, Y, and Z in the beginning. How are we coming along with those goals?
I see.
So that definitely is a point that is incorporated in our counseling process.
Yeah.
We always need goals.
Because as you know, when this time of year, we set forth for the future. We say we want to do this, this, and this as a goal. By March, they're like dropped off the bandwagon. Like, forgot about it, or I want to do something else. And damn. In the middle of the year, we're like, we should have completed that goal because this could have been done. But unfortunately, we don't do it. And we all have strengths and weaknesses in those areas, so it happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the key there is it sustainable for your whatever that goal is it sustainable for your life and your lifestyle?
True.
You know, a lot of times, you know, once January 1 comes around, it's like this big grandiose plan of all the things that we're going to do, but, you know, is it really realistic? You know, for example, having you know, if you want to save a little money, whether that's for, you know, a trip or for, you know, schooling or what have you, you have to say, okay, what's practical for me? What are my expenses? And then kind of say, okay, I can save this amount. And then let's just try this and see how it works. So I think it's finding something that you can sustain over a long period of time. And of course, you want something that you can kind of benchmark against. It's like, okay, I'm here right now and I want to get to this. And here are the little steps or the little milestones that I need to reach to get to that goal.
And speaking of that, I just wanted to add another point about paying off the credit card. Sometimes when we get that bill in January, we just want to pay it off one time, but sometimes it's helpful to pay X amount of money every month so that we're working on it like a goal.
Right.
As opposed to, okay, I've got this $3,000 bill. I want to just go ahead and pay it off, and then people don't have anything else left over, but they got their credit card bill off them. And sometimes that's not the greatest way to go about doing it.
Because you had other stress from not taking care of other matters. I see what you're saying. So again, that comes down to budgeting.
Yes.
Yep.
And then on the other side of things, you know, we can apply goals to our relationships as well. So, you know, say you want your relationship to kind of get to another space. And that's where counseling and clinical services, you know, can be a huge help because a counselor or a therapist is not as emotionally invested in the situation as you are. So you can have someone giving you like a kind of an outsider's view of things and give you some constructive feedback to help kind of untangle all of your thoughts and emotions about, you know, a particular relationship. So you know, you can work with a therapist or work with a counselor to say, okay, I want my relationship with this person to become this. And then they can help you work through those steps, which is important. So, but of course, it has to be sustainable. You know, you can't be burning yourself out in the process. So, and of course, they can kind of take a look at you as a full person and say, okay, what are the kind of push and pull factors that you're experiencing in your life and why, you know, take into account the past and how you feel about the present and then where you want your relationship to be in the future.
Cool. Is there anything else you ladies like to add that we did not ask? Because this is a great topic.
I'm glad you think so.
Yeah, I see what you do.
Just to spread the love at this time of year as well as forgiveness as well. Sometimes
that's a key point. Forgiveness.
Have to forgive persons that have hurt us in the past because hurt people hurt people. So I just want to encourage everyone to spread the love and cheer and forgiveness this time of year.
Just remember that. Never see it.
Hurt people.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Thank you.
Not a problem. And of course, we'll have you back in 2 weeks' time because that will be the last episode of Inside Sports for the year. That will be on the 16th. So I'm sure you have a great topic because you always bring good topics.
Yeah. Actually, because we will be inching closer to the holidays, we will be talking about mindful eating. During the holidays. Yes. So
that's funny. I'm
mindful
eating, right?
Mindful eating.
Some people, I was on Saturday night, and people were like, "Well, we're gonna do this on Boxing Day. Then we're gonna have this gathering over here. these are my relatives, right? We're going to have over here on the morning on Boxing Day. You're going to come over here. We're going to eat this. I'm saying that's how I feel. So yeah, Mark,
But the point is, you can enjoy the holidays, but no one really wants to sabotage their health goals. So you gotta find a balance.
Yeah, happy medium.
Yes.
well, thank you for Dave Wolf. He has his Fit for Life class open on Boxing Day. Dave, have it again this year, please. He's had it for the last few years on Boxing Day at 8 o'clock, so we go there for like 45 minutes.
And that's a good
Cool.
tradition.
Yeah, so good. All right, so we'll take a commercial break and we'll be back after this.
Sports Talk Radio is Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baisden.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. How was your weekend of sports coverage, mate? Overall, though? Aside from the rain, it's turned
Yeah, but it was a fantastic weekend. We had 3 national championships take place. We had the National Cross Country Championships on Saturday at Botanic Gardens. We had the Winter Age Group Championships that took place over a 3-day period, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Bassa Pool. And we also had the Match Play Championships in golf at Port Royal. That began on Friday, Saturday, and yesterday, concluded yesterday. These 3 events had challenges.
Uh-huh.
It was cold, windy, rainy, not steady rain, but we had, showers, intermittent showers, and, athletes had to deal with a lot. Friday night, I went to the Bassa Pool. Some of those parents should have been arrested for having their children in the water on Friday night. I mean, it was freezing. The pool was fine. The pool was morning time. Yeah, man. I mean, come on. And then got them back to the pool on Saturday morning to get back in the pool. Now, mind you, Saturday morning was a lot better than Saturday evening.
Friday evening.
Yeah, than Friday evening. It was, the sun was out.
Right.
Although there was still that chill in the air, I guess, when they put on their jackets, they weren't as cool as they were the night before. But yesterday, my gracious, the wind came back up, and it was just overcast. The showers came through, and it was torture, man.
Yeah.
And same thing for the golfers. I mean, I know some of those heavy downpours becomes challenging for a golfer because you have to grip the club, and your feeling is different and all that. But congratulations to the 3 championship winners and Kathy Lloyd Hines, the ladies champion, Jared Dillis, the men's champion, and Mr. Mallon won the senior age group championship. So won the senior championship up at Port Royal. So congratulations to them. We also had yesterday 2 friendship matches. Crossroads beating North Village 2-1 at Bernard Park.
That's an upset.
Yeah,
Huge upset.
First loss of the season in all competitions for North Village.
You're right now.
And then Devonshire Cougars defeated the Boulevard Blazers, so they've advanced to this week's first round.
Okay.
Crossroads and Devonshire Cougars. So I must say, we had karting, harness racing, rugby. It was a whole host of sports taking place as we can. But your team,
Which one?
overseas.
Which one?
Well, let's start with the heartbreak
49ers.
last night.
The 49ers.
Yeah. They became 48ers last night.
They came 48. I like that. I've never heard that one before. They used to call us 40 winers.
Yeah.
40 winers.
Yes.
We were winning anything.
Yes.
I couldn't pick up that game.
Yeah, I was watching it.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe it was a good thing.
I saw the highlights when maybe we were 4th and 1 and we threw the ball and the guy knocked it down.
Yes.
That was the turning point right there.
Right.
To see the highlights. And then they ran the ball, ran the clock down. That's smart move. It was a defensive game.
Yeah.
Right, which I expected to be.
But when teams are riding high like that, when they play each other, they tend to be more defensive.
Yeah.
Even the Kansas City.
They blew out Raiders.
Yeah, but both teams. Right. It was. Both teams started off tentative.
Yes, in the first 2 quarters. Well,
yeah. And then
second quarter,
and then Kansas City really just took advantage of some bad plays from the Raiders and basically blew them away. At one point, it was actually the Raiders were trying a field goal just before the half, and the guy looked like me kicking the ball. He didn't look like a professional at all. I mean, when I say he shanked it, if 5 goal posters would have been on the side, he'd have missed them all.
Is that wide?
That wide.
Good Lord.
And low.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Was the weather conditions a factor?
It was. It was swirling, but I mean the ball. He must have slipped. I didn't watch the. How they show you
the
replay because they went straight to halftime. He had to plant his foot wrong or something because it went really, really wide. And then of course over in England.
Well, yeah. I was happy. We were up 2-0, and I think we just took the gas pedal off. Took the pedal off the gas, I should say. And I was like, what the heck? It was scary. And then, our goalkeeper, got a red card, so he was still wins this game. But nevertheless, all said and done. We're still on top of the table, and we just have to continue winning. That's just how it is.
Most importantly, now you're going to face your crosstown rivals.
I know, Wednesday.
Yeah. They're coming off a heartbreak.
A heartbreak, right? I felt sorry for that manager, right?
Yeah.
Because if they lose, I think they will lose on Wednesday, it's like you get the sack.
Yeah. Any interim coach though?
No, he's a full coach for Everton. He's a full-time coach.
Oh, okay.
Marco Silva.
Oh, okay.
He's a full-time coach, but he'll probably get the sack on Wednesday. And don't be surprised he gets the sack before. But then you don't sack him before because what's it to motivate your loss on Sunday?
Yeah.
That's gonna be kind of hard, right?
Yeah.
So if he loses on Wednesday, don't be surprised he gets the sack, right?
Right.
And then you see Arsenal made their sack on this is the funny part. Wednesday morning, right? We're at the gym, getting ready to go for the run up to Dave's gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to Mark, BOA, British Airways got this special. One of those Arsenal people flying in, Unai Emery gave a speech, right? So we just laughed it off.
Right.
This is like 5:45 in the morning. We get back from Dave's class after the run. My friend goes, breaking news. That boy fired. I said, you think he's on that flight to Bermuda? I But nevertheless, it's crazy. And then Watford fired their coach
Yeah.
on Sunday, right?
Sunday, yeah.
I'm like, Marcy, so I think there's 4 managers have been fired this season.
Has it been 4 already?
I think it's been 4. Remember, Watford's won twice now.
That's right.
Arsenal
Yeah.
and Tottenham.
That's right.
So that's 4.
Yeah.
That's 4 managers. Right?
Interesting times. I mean, I couldn't figure out the Tottenham one. But then you start hearing, especially the Arsenal one, you hear players saying, I'm not going to extend my contract because I don't get along with the coach.
Oh, really? I haven't heard that one.
Last week it was one of the players, Ozil.
That's Arsenal. Oh, yeah, regarding Arsenal.
Yeah.
Well, he had signed a new contract. And
Right,
so
but they wanted an extension.
Arsenal wanted an extension for
one of the players last week from Arsenal
Okay.
were talking about they weren't going to sign because the manager was in place.
Right, Unai.
Yeah, so it was one of those things where, you have to make a decision.
Right.
And then the loss in the Champions League or UEFA, which one are they in?
Oh, when they lost to UEFA.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Thursday.
That-
and they were up 1-0.
1-0.
And they
Yeah.
lost at
2
home.
goals in about 5 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Right,
Yeah.
right, around that time.
Just,
So, that's hard.
Yeah. You knew he was out right after that match. So the next morning,
Fired.
Yeah.
But the funny thing, it's not funny, but the thing was that the decision was made on Monday in
right.
the United States. This is what I found out Saturday night. Again, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I didn't know the owners or a majority shareholder of Arsenal is owned by an American who owns the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Right? So when I read the story Friday night that the decision was made in the United States on Monday, I didn't think nothing of it. I said, they're on a business trip.
Right.
They did a conference call and
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I was telling before Saturday night. I said, no, man. The owner of the Los Angeles Rams owns majority shareholders of Arsenal. I was like, oh, okay. Interesting.
Right. Well, I had to smile because the comments that BBC were running regarding the Manchester United current coach.
Oh, Unai? I'm not Unai. Sorry. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah. Talking about he's not concerned about the position that United's in.
He said it. I saw that.
I'm pretty sure. You got a lot of spectators that are saying, what did he just say?
I know.
You're not concerned? I know your good friend Mark Simons was talking about it's going to be a X amount. We're still on schedule.
Yeah, he's honest.
Yeah.
He's honest. He said it's not going to be overnight. He said it from as soon as he retired.
But what you don't want is your leader making comments such as that.
Yeah.
Because you have to, no matter how things are going, you have to be concerned about your position.
Of course, everyone's going to be top 4.
Yeah.
That helps bring in the players,
Yeah.
right? Players
Yeah.
play for the Champions League.
Yeah. So especially, I mean, you want to be in at least top 6.
Yeah.
At least. Because you have that opportunity, you're not going to do what 23 points from first?
First, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tall order, man.
And 8 points from the bottom. There, right?
Yeah. So,
they got a big game on Wednesday. They're home to Tottenham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, old coach is coming back, and he's been putting off miracles for Tottenham. His what?
That's gonna be interesting.
He's been putting off miracles. We want you back.
Yeah, I don't think United fans will be saying that about him.
but in fairness, he said he's learned. He's not going to be the same manager.
We'll see.
And look,
so far, when you're winning, you can.
But you haven't seen
shine
him
the light.
Right, but you haven't seen him when he does take the lead. In previous, everybody drops back behind the ball.
Yeah.
But you haven't seen that thus far.
No, you haven't seen him play.
So
Trump Tam back.
Yeah. So in that regard, he's a new coach.
We'll see.
But over the years, we'll see.
Let's just say United wins on Wednesday. He won't give you that much of the pass, but he may give you a percentage of it, a very small percentage.
Right. Tottenham man, I can see him running down the sideline.
No, he won't, because in United, he'll show respect.
No, he won't.
No, but he wouldn't do that.
You wanted me out. You kicked me out. I was asking you to be patient. You kicked me out.
I remember that. He did say that.
Yeah.
On his press conference.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
We will see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 2 o'clock already. We got to sign off.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week for another edition of Inside Sports Talk Radio. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us. Again, this comes on tonight at 9 o'clock. Take care.
Inside Sports.